Just bear with us for a couple of seconds.
You're not on this one. Oh, you are a little bit. I'll tell a little. No, you're not. Stay. That's better. Calm down. Yeah, that's all.
Like them politicians, when they go live, right? It'll take like what 10 minutes before they appear.
Yeah.
The speech.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we live.
Yeah, we on now.
Yeah, so yeah, man. As usual, you already know. All praises and glory to the Most High and His Son.
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kadash.
And double honor to the apostles of the great known stone that taught us this truth, and including the bishops on down as well. And Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Brakathum, of course, to the 140 and 4,000, and as well as the 1/3. So we're going to begin by reading, 1 Kings 4, in verse 24.
So, it's the book of 1 Kings chapter 4, verse 24.
Go on.
And it says, "For he had dominion over all the region on this side the river,
Go on.
from Tipsah even to Azar."
Yeah, Tipsah is basically another part of the river, which is within the river Euphrates, just to put that out there as well. Yeah, so read that part again.
Come, verse 24. 1 Kings chapter 4, verse 24.
Come.
"For he had dominion over all the region on this side the river,
Come.
from Tipsah even to Azar."
One more time, Mark. Just one more time.
"For he had dominion over all the region on this side the river,
Come.
from Tipsah even to Azar."
Yeah, so all of that region that he owned, that's where the trade was. That's where he was getting his he was getting his resources from, the trading. So he had ownership of those rivers. So you can definitely see why he was very successful that he was, because he ran all of that region, which we're gonna get into all the information, but just to put that out there as well. Go on, bro.
And it says,
And even onto Gaza, right?
come, even unto Azar,
Yeah, which is currently named Gaza. Go on.
over all the kings on this side the river,
Mm-hmm.
and he had peace on all sides round about him.
Right. Now, doesn't it say that the Lord is known as the King of Kings, Lord of Lords? So Solomon was the king of all of the various kings at that time as well. All right? Just to put that out there. Go on.
And it says, "And he had peace on all sides round about him,
Mm-hmm.
and Judah and Israel dwelt safely."
Right. And Judah and Israel dwelt safely. So what's the precept to that? Because the thing of it is, one of the prophets, which I believe, what verse we in? 25, right?
25 now.
Yeah, someone get Ezekiel 34 and 25. Because Ezekiel 34 and 25 prophesied that when the Israelites return, obviously, back to the land, and as well as Isaiah, it says that we would dwell in peace. And also, it also mentions that we would be settling under our trees, the fig trees and different various trees, you know? So the same way the Israelites were dwelling under the trees peacefully, that's what's going to happen to us in the kingdom as well. So I just want to just pull that out.
Right, this is the book of Ezekiel 24,
Yeah.
verse...
The fir tree, Slakin. The fir tree.
Sorry.
Go on.
Ezekiel what, 24?
And 34 and 25.
34, 25.
Mm-hmm.
I'm there.
Oh, you're there, brother.
Right, slacking. Ezekiel 34:25 says, "And I will make them to dwell." Sorry, read that again.
Mm-hmm.
"And I will make a covenant of peace, and will cause the evil beasts to cease from out of the land,
Right.
and they shall dwell safely in the wilderness,
Right.
and sleep in the woods."
Mm-hmm. And sleep in the woods. So the Lord is going to what? Make everything peaceful for us. Because remember, the Lord, I think it's in there actually. It's in the book of Ezekiel 34. It mentions about a covenant that the Lord is going to make with the Israelites. It's going to be a peace covenant. Okay? So
Yeah,
that's what that goes into. You want to elaborate more on that?
Yeah, that's it. "And I will make with them a covenant of peace."
See, there you go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's what that's for. So we know that Solomon, during his time, everything was peaceful. And we know why, to be exact. Because when King David was on the scene, he was basically raising a lot of hell and putting fear in the hearts of many nations that he went to war against. So by the time Solomon came on the scene, it was peaceful.
Precept.
Go on, brother.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 49, verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
The scepter shall not depart from Judah,
Right.
nor a lawgiver from between his feet,
Mm-hmm.
until Shiloh come.
Right, until peace come. So the lawgiver, which this is what proves that Yahweh Shai is basically the ultimate what? Levi. According to the book of if I'm correct, Hebrews the 5th chapter.
Okay.
When he was what? Melchizedek.
Yeah.
Melchizedek, which means in the Hebrew, it's pronounced in the Hebrew, Malak Tazadak, which means the king of righteousness. Go on.
And it says, from between his feet until Shiloh come,
Mm-hmm.
and unto him shall the gathering of the people be.
Right, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. So Yahweh Shai, when Yahweh Shai came back on the scene, which is what not came back, but when Solomon came back as Yahweh Shai, he was basically there to put things correct. Okay, and you had the 12 disciples that were there and everything else. So he was there to what? Give the word to the Israelites, especially those that were of the elect, because you even had the elect even at the time. And that's why Yahweh Shai said in Matthew 13 that the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven are given unto you, but unto them they are not given. Okay? So when we take it a bit further, because I want to get to the point, even as of right now, the Lord is gathering all of the tribes together. Because at the time, the Israelites, more specifically, it was just the the descendants of the 3 tribes, which is Judah. So in these times, the Lord is gathering all of the tribes together, the southern kingdom and as well as the northern kingdom. So all of the people are being gathered together under Yahweh Shai in these times. And then he's going to come, and then Shiloh is going to come. Shiloh just means another way of saying peace. That's what I want to say. If you got some more, brothers.
Another quick one.
Mm-hmm.
Hebrews 7 and 17. For he testifieth, thou art a priest
Right.
forever,
Right.
after the order of Melchizedek.
Right, after the order of Melchizedek. So after the order of Melchizedek, he will be declared the priest forever. Okay, because Yahweh Shai established him as obviously the king of Israel. He's the ultimate king of Israel. And also, I just want to mention too, when he died on the cross and thorns was put on his head, that was an indication of that. And they mocked him.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, has he become the king of the Jews?"
Yeah.
Right? But that thorn on his head symbolized that he was the king of Israel anyway.
Yeah. They put a garment of purple around him.
Right.
After they scourged him,
Mm-hmm.
and they gave him a fake reed in his hand,
Come.
like what a king would hold.
Yeah.
They said, "See, now he's a king."
Now he's a king.
So
But even though they mocked him, it was still symbolic.
True, yeah.
Right.
True.
Go on, brother.
Can. So yeah, that was that on Genesis 49.
Mhm.
So I'll go back to, unless anyone has precept.
I got one here.
Yeah, go on now.
The book of Isaiah 5 verse 26. And he will lift up an ensign
Right.
to the nations
Okay.
from far,
Mm-hmm.
and will hiss unto them
Right.
from the end of the
So
earth.
let's stop it there. He would what? Lift up an enzyme. What is another way of saying an enzyme? An example. Read it again.
Yes, the book of Isaiah 5 verse 26.
Mm-hmm.
And he will lift up an ensign
Mm-hmm.
to the nations
To the nations, go on.
from far,
From far, go on.
and will hiss unto them from the end of the earth.
Right. And really, I would say that's twofold because the Israelites have been scattered abroad. Am I correct?
Can.
We all,
Yes.
I don't have to say am I correct. I am correct on that. You know? So, because another thing that I want to mention, I've already mentioned it. We've been scattered among the nations. And just, I'll tell you what, read that again. And,
Yes.
and then somebody get Isaiah 11.
Drinking it on your
Yeah.
Right. Book of Isaiah 5 verse 26.
Mhm.
Go on.
And he will lift up an ensign, which is an example,
Come.
to the nations
Yeah.
from far.
From far. So let's hold on to that. So now let's get Isaiah 11. And we will read Isaiah 11 and verse. Try to read verse 9. Start with verse 9.
Come on. Isaiah 11 starting from verse 9 says,
Mm-hmm.
they shall not hurt nor destroy.
Actually, the point is in verse 12, but you can read on from that.
Alright, Isaiah 11:9.
Mm-hmm.
They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain,
Mm-hmm.
for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of Yahweh,
Mm-hmm.
as the waters cover the sea.
Yep, go on.
And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse,
Mm-hmm.
which shall stand for an ensign of the people, and to it shall the Gentiles seek.
So who's Jesse? Just to put it out there.
David's father.
David.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
it.
in the flesh, yeah.
Yeah, go on.
And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign for the people,
Mm-hmm.
to which shall all the Gentiles seek, and his vest shall be glorious.
Yeah, go on.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people,
Mm-hmm.
which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea.
Yeah, go on.
And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts
Exactly.
of Israel.
That's what we want. So he's gonna what? Set up an ensign for the nations and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel. So that's why that reads over there. Because how is this being declared? Through us. We are the ensign. We are the example.
Mhm.
Okay? That's what I should have said first. We have become the example of Yahweh Shai by projecting this word. You got brothers all around the place that's bringing out the same word. So we're basically announcing Yahweh Shai. That's all I want to say from there. You're going out.
If I might add,
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Just line backing off the elder, we are the ensign, the example of Yahweh Shai. That's why the scripture prophesies in the prophecies that Elijah would come back again.
Right.
Because John is Elijah, and he made the way straight for Yahweh Shai
Mm-hmm.
before he came. And then
Mhm.
when the Lord came on the scene, he said, I must decrease,
Ah.
and he may increase.
Increase.
Right.
So he prepared the way for the Messiah
Nice.
2,000 years ago.
Nice, brother.
Come.
And then he came back again
God.
and kick-started the truth.
Mm.
There you go. That's it.
Was it the late 50s, early 60s?
No, it's the late 60s.
Late 60s, Salakia.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're told the accounts. So
Huh.
he came back. We believe the man Elder Rabbi Abba Bibbins, and kick-started the truth, man.
Yeah.
And then you had the hedge from one there.
Huh.
So it's the same thing. The scripture says the spirit of the prophets are subject
Onto
the
the
to the
prophets.
prophets. So
Yeah.
they just come back in another lifetime
Yeah.
doing the same thing,
Doing the same thing. Yeah.
being the ensample.
Be the example. And all of the prophets in combination and those that believe are of Yahweh Shai.
Can't.
So now, let's go and read what you got right there.
Right. To continue now, in Isaiah 55 verse 26, and I said it again. And he will lift up an ensign to the nations
Go on.
from far, and will hiss unto them from end of the earth.
Go on.
And behold, they shall come with speedy,
Mm-hmm.
speed,
Expedience.
come with speed swiftly.
Mm-hmm.
None shall be weary,
Mm-hmm.
nor stumble among them,
Right.
nor shall slumber, nor sleep.
Right.
Neither shall the girdle of their loins be loosed,
Mm-hmm.
nor the latchets of their shoes be broken.
God, yeah, because all of that, if I'm correct, represents this truth in entirety. So we're not going to be brought back to sleep.
Mm.
We're not going to be like, oh man, we're not really sure. If you want to say something on
No, finish your point, Oda. A scripture just came to mind.
Yeah. Yeah, so the thing of it is, I'll tell you what, read that again. So I can
Yes,
recap
sir.
my train of thought.
Right. Isaiah 5 verse 27 now.
Mm-hmm.
None shall be weary,
Right.
nor stumble
Mhm.
among them.
Come.
None shall slumber nor sleep.
Yep.
Neither shall the girdle of their loins be loosed,
Right.
nor the latchet
Yeah,
of their
because
shoes
the
be
reason why
broken.
we're not going to be tired because we're going to be quickened in the spirit.
Yeah,
And this word is going to be the quickening rudiment.
yeah. Speed
Go
swiftly.
on, brother.
Just to land back off that precept from
Mhm.
Ahab, Psalms 121, verse 4. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Right. Beautiful. Beautiful.
It's the Lord.
Yeah.
The reason why we ain't going to slumber and sleep is because the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, is with his elect.
Exactly.
It says the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, is thy keeper.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is thy shade upon thy right hand.
Come.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
Mm-hmm.
nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil.
Mm-hmm.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yep.
The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in
Come.
from this time forth
Mm-hmm.
and even forevermore.
Hey, you could break that down, brother.
But it
Explains itself, don't it?
It's there. This is land backing off a hub. We're not going to slumber because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is with his elect, man.
Mm-hmm.
Can I back you up, brother?
You go on.
Psalms 23 verse 4. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil,
Come.
for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they shall comfort me.
Come. Yeah. So the girdle and the loins and all of that, right? You can go back and read that again. Which represents in entirety this truth, this knowledge. And that's how we stay in communication with the Lord himself. So as you just read, the Lord what? Keeps us in the right kind of state of mind. He keeps us up and going, and that we don't fall. We don't slumber back to sleep again. Now, if you do slumber back to sleep again, that's because the Lord wasn't with you.
You know, of the elect.
Yeah.
He said in John 17, I have kept those which you have given me, and none of them is lost.
Yes.
So if you end up lost, then
You was never one of his.
I've got one. Did you ask him to read that again? Or I've got one, yeah?
Go on, bro. And then you finished with that?
Yeah, finish it, Elder, yes.
Okay, go on. Read what you got. And then we're gonna go back to the main point.
It's still with
Right.
the kings.
Okay, yeah, come.
Isaiah 60 and 1 says, Arise, shine, for the light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee.
Mm-hmm.
For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee.
Mm-hmm. And that's the knowledge. That's all I gotta say about that.
If I could just say, Elder, quickly,
Yeah.
just quickly, because I remember when you're waking up in the morning, this is when it's an old saying, arise and shine.
Right.
Wow.
So where they come from? It come from the scriptures. That this is what's happening now.
Yeah.
We're arising, and that beamy light
Yeah.
from the Lord is being put upon us.
That's what the Irish say, innit? Bed Jake, top of the morning to you
That's
know?
it.
That's the
Absolutely.
spirit though, top of the morning,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Get up and rise, man.
God.
It's Jake.
That's it. Yeah, so we're gonna go back to Kings.
So we got to verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
1 Kings chapter 4 verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
And Judah and Israel dwelt safely, every man under his vine
Mm-hmm.
and under his fig tree, from Dan even to Beersheba,
Yep.
all the days of Solomon.
Yeah, so overall, Israel was chilling. Israel was cooling in the cut. I mean, there was nothing to worry about. There was no wars. There was no kind of violence among the tribes. Everything was just good. So when Yahweh Shai comes back again, when Shiloh comes again, he's going to declare that vibration of peace, tranquility will be on the earth. And especially for the Israelites. All right. Now, when you read the book of Revelations, I think it's 21 or 22. It says that the Lord will wipe away all tears from our eyes. So, in order for that to go down, guess what? The Lord has to what? Shun this disease that we have within ourselves, and that is the disease of sin. You know. So once that's all said and done, then we're gonna what? Be able to enjoy paradise as we should have enjoyed it in a peaceful habitation under Him. If you can, brother, someone get that, or if you got a precept to bring that out too.
Are you getting Revelation, Caleb, innit?
Not the specific one the elder called for, but one in Revelation, yes.
Okay, come on. Why are you getting that? I got, I mean, we already know it, but just for
Let's get it anyway.
edification's sake,
Mm-hmm.
this is the Omen Nomen, Solomon, right?
Come.
In the Hebrew, Shalomah. Here they say Shlomo,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really Shalomah. And
That's the name of that group, isn't it?
who's that?
There's still academics to come.
Yeah,
No, you got it.
Yeah, with that guy Jeffrey, he's the dancer.
Yeah.
Shalimar.
Shalimar, that famous
I got
soul group.
friends. I remember them songs. I remember them
Sounds
songs.
All my
familiar.
time.
Yeah.
Salakia. But yeah, when you said Shalimar, that's the name of that group.
Oh
So
wow,
that's what they got it from.
yeah.
The dancer taught Michael Jackson how to do the moonwalk.
Okay.
Oh really?
Yeah, yeah.
For people that don't know
Wow.
Yeah,
that. Right.
sure.
He was
Wow.
well known.
But yeah, well, the name Solomon in Hebrew is Shalomah, and it means peace or peaceable.
Right, the peaceable. Exactly. So, as Solomon did, he what? And like I said, the ultimate reason why Solomon's kingdom was very peaceful because it all had to do with his father David at the time. So when Solomon was on the scene, again, there was just nothing more than peace. Even the business that was being done, it was peaceful. And we're going to go into how he had how his relationship was with Hiram Abiff. That was a peaceful relationship that they had. You know, so yeah, we're going to go into all of that, man.
Precept, if
You're
I may.
going, brother. Yeah.
This is Matthew 13:41. It says, "The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend,
Right.
and all them that do iniquity."
Right, and all those that do iniquity. So basically, if you are an Israelite and you're wicked, you're gonna get out of that, man. You're gonna get cut out of that because the whole the plan of the Lord is to establish what is it, the house of David, which is known as the brotherhood that we have right now, and there can't be no isms and schisms in this, because the goal is just to what, create a peaceful government. So if you got a peaceful government, then guess what? The people under that government is going to be in a peaceful habitation. All right. So all of the isms and the schisms, any kind of brother that's causing issues, they're gonna get out of it. They will get out of it, you know, and that's just the thing. So that's why we gotta correspond with the spirit of Yahweh Shah, which is to be at peace with one another. That's why the scripture says, honor all men and love the brotherhood. Because when the kingdom is set up and we're all of the elect, Lord willing, we're going to be working with each other to situate the kingdom with Yahweh Shah. So we might as well just do what we're doing right now. As you brought out in the land of our captivity, that what we rehearse the righteous acts. But we do it like it's the real thing.
Precept Elder.
Go on.
Ezekiel 37 verse 19. Say unto them, thus saith the Lord our power, behold, I will take a stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel, his fellows, and will put them with them, even with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick.
And make them one stick. So instead of it being the southern and the northern kingdom, it's just going to be one kingdom of the Israelites. It ain't going to need no separation, because the separation went back to when Solomon went off and worshiping them gods of the concubines he fell in love with. So when that happened, you had one of you brothers could correct me, it's Jeroboam, right?
Yeah.
Jeroboam, which happened to divide one of the tribes. All right, the tribes were divided because of that ill deed that he did. So now what's being done is the gathering together of the tribes again. Go on, bro.
I mean, just adding to the elder the stick coming together, that's already happened for brothers in the truth.
Yeah.
You got brothers in camps that are like Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom, all in the same camp, man.
Yeah.
You know, but that's gonna happen on a wider scale with all Israel, man.
Yeah.
You know, because even to this day, like, you just check, like, you get in the scriptures, like Benjamin and Ephraim, they're close, like they're closely related, but then you still have issues amongst the Southern Kingdom and the Northern Kingdom. Like Northern Kingdom think they're better than Judah and Benjamin, Levi, and vice versa. So on a whole, it's gonna get corrected. But within the truth, the two sticks already came together.
The elect. Absolutely.
Yep. You know.
Yeah, that's a better way of going into that. Yeah. So I mean, that's already happened. The elect through the elect, because everything begins, everything started and it's gonna end with the elect. The elect are gonna make the example, and then the rest of the nation is gonna follow through. You got something, right?
Yeah, to add to your point, this is Psalms 37 verse 37. It says, "Mark the perfect man, behold the upright, for the end of that man is peace.
Wow.
But the transgressors shall be destroyed together, and the end of the wicked shall be cut off."
Exactly. So the end of the wicked is going to be cut off. Why? Because they're cleaving onto the image or the example of the wicked. But the elect, they're going to cleave to the image which shows a great deal of an example, which leads on to peace. So Yahweh Shai, which is what we're talking about here, is that peace that we're supposed to look up to, so that we can become like him, and even unto the kingdom. We can be the peaceable brothers that are going to rule in the kingdom, which is going to be the case anyway, because if we keep the commandments being that we're going to be under the new covenant, there's going to be peace. The only destruction comes when you what? Begin to transgress the laws.
Right.
That's when destruction comes. But when you don't transgress the laws, there is only but peace. All right? We're going to be like Yahweh Shai, because Yahweh Shai, that what? He said basically, not one jot, not one tittle shall no wise pass from the law until all be fulfilled. So he is the epitome of his Father's will in keeping the law. So we're going to be the same way. So when we're like that, there's going to be peace, even among Israel. Go on. Now let him finish this.
Oh, you want me to read more on this? Psalms 37, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Back in, where was I? Right. Psalms 37:37. Mark the perfect man, and behold the upright.
Mm-hmm.
For the end of that man is peace.
Yeah, so let me break it down in this way. Just to use Occam's razors.
Occam's razor.
Occam's razor, thank you, brother. Right? The image that we're supposed to acknowledge is Yahweh Shai, man. He's the one and only. He's the upright. Okay? The end of that man is going to be peace. Yeah, he's going to be the one to bring destruction, but at the end of the day, he's going to bring peace. That's it. That's all I'm going to say from there.
Are you finished, Caleb?
Just read a little bit more Bible because I like that. But the transgressors shall be destroyed together, and the end of the wicked shall be cut off.
Right.
But the salvation of the righteous is of Yahweh.
Right.
He is their strength in the time of trouble.
Right. And when his sons comes back, we're gonna be delivered, Lord willing. If we hearken unto Yahweh Shai, which he's the one and only, the upright, which is the peace one.
One more verse, this is a good one. And Yahweh shall help them and deliver them, and he shall deliver them from the wicked and save them because they trust in him.
Because they trust in him. And that's the key point. So when we go through our ups and downs in this life, we gotta what? We gotta be brought back to mind that the Lord is gonna take care of it. Always remember that.
Beautiful.
Because at the end of the day, the just will be justified. As it is also written that the just shall live by faith. So they're going to be the ones to be delivered under the strength and power of Yahweh Shai. Because Yahweh Shai is a just one. He was just on the earth by being obedient unto death. And we're going to show forth just by being obedient unto Yahweh Shai to the very end. And therefore, by faith, we will be justified. Okay, that's all I have to say on that.
To back you up, Elder, yeah.
Go on.
Isaiah chapters 9 and verse 6 says, For unto us a child is born,
Okay.
and unto a son is given, and unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder.
Right, and go on.
His shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace.
And that's why he's known as the Prince of Peace. Because he's going to what? Bring that peace. And the government that's going to be had on his shoulders is going to be the elect. Okay? They're the ones that's going to be delivered, 144,000, and which is basically the governing body. And we're going to set the kingdom up. We're going to be the ones to establish the kingdom up. So that's the government that's upon his shoulders. So he's basically carrying us right now. Go on.
One more verse. Of Isaiah 9 and 7 now. Of the increase of his government and the peace there shall be no end.
Right. The key point. Read it again.
Of the increase of his government and peace there
Slow
shall...
it down. Read it again. Calm down. Go on.
Isaiah chapters 9 and verse 7 says, Of the increase of his government and the peace there shall be no end.
Right, and the increase of his government and the peace shall there be no end. Because the one and only which is going to bring peace will always remain to rule. Okay, his vibration is always going to be here on this earth.
Heavy.
Point blank in the story.
Say that again, Elder.
Yeah,
the last thing you just said?
Yeah, read that again.
Yeah. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth even forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this.
Exactly. So again, Yahweh Shai is going to be the main one to obviously be above the Israelites, because it's going to be his kingdom. Okay, so if he's spearheading the kingdom, there can only but be peace. It's just that simple. Okay, and then you're going to have King David. He's going to be what? Third in command on the entire planet Earth. All right, and guess what? As it also reads in the book of Matthew 6, where it says there's a prayer that went out where it says, "Let thy will be done as it is done in heaven."
Matthew 6.
In other words, everything physically is going to reflect the spiritual realm. If you can perceive what I'm saying, because there's harmonious peace in the spiritual realm. So that's how the earth is going to be. Everybody's going to play their particular order. Okay, everything's going to be in order. So that's going to bring that peace again. Go on, brother.
If I may, in the Lord's Prayer, it's thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Yeah.
But I believe the Freemasons pray a different prayer. They say, as below, so above.
Right.
Wow, opposite.
So, yeah, they want their kingdom on this earth to surpass the heavens.
Right.
So that's why they say that. They obviously, because Esau's doing his shit on the earth, thinking that he can overturn the rule of the Most High.
Come. Thank you, bro. Yeah. But that's not going to work anyway, man. That ain't going to work. You're going, bro.
Colossians 2 verse 5. For though I am absent in the flesh.
And then we're going to get back to the point.
Okay. Though I be absent in the flesh, yet am I with you in the spirit.
Right.
Join and beholding your order and the steadfastness of your faith in Yahushua HaMashiach.
Come.
As ye have therefore received Yahushua HaMashiach, the Lord, so walk ye in him.
Right, so walk ye in him. And when we walk in Yahushua, what do? Again, we keep peace among each other. Point blank in this story. Okay? Walk ye in him. If you walk in him, you'll keep the commandments. Because he's of the commandments. Like, no one has to say, oh, keep the commandments, brother. Yahushua is the commandments. Okay, so if we follow after him and take on his image, we're keeping the righteousness of the Lord automatically. Because he, go on.
Let me add the last verse here. Rooted and built up in him.
Absolutely.
And established in the faith.
Right, and established in the faith.
As ye have been taught, abounding therefore with thanksgiving.
Absolutely. So you have to what? You have to be glued to this truth. And how do you show yourself to be glued? You got to get into this thing, man. You got to get into it. You can't be on and off of it. You have to be dedicated to this knowledge, man. And may the Heavenly Father put that spirit upon me to be more dedicated to this thing and to see how serious this truth really is, so I can be dedicated to this.
3 seconds on that.
Go on, brother.
Real quick, I know you want to go to Kings.
Yeah.
It's in 1 Corinthians 16 and 15. I beseech you, brethren, you know the house of Stephanus, that it is the first fruits of Achaia,
right?
And that they have addicted themselves to the ministry of the saints.
So I want to build on that. So there you go. They have what? Addicted themselves to the ministry. So when the elder apostles gave the order, especially Apostle Gabar, when he gave the order that we should be doing our lessons on a day-to-day basis, there's nothing wrong with that. And I actually have begun to fall more in love with doing these lessons, to tell you the truth, to the point where the things that I'd rather do, you know, the fleshly things that I want to do, I don't really find interest in these things anymore. You know, tell you the truth. Go on, bro. You got something.
No, I just agree with you because I feel the same way.
Yeah,
that's all I
Come on. Yeah, so now we're gonna go back to Kings.
So we're back in 1 Kings chapter 4, and we're now at verse.
And before you read that too, I just want to say one last thing, because what we want to do ain't gonna lead to the kingdom.
Yeah.
Doing this right here is what's gonna lead to the kingdom. Remember, we're laboring to enter into that rest.
Wow.
Someone get me that. That's in what? Ephesians I think it's in Hebrews 4. Someone pull that out, Hebrews 4. And I think it's in verse, let me see if I can find it for you, brothers. I just want to bring this out and we're going to get to the point. That we've entered into late with that verse.
That is...
You got it here.
Oh, you got it, yeah?
Yeah, man. The book of Hebrews,
4.
verse 4, verse 9.
Huh.
There remaineth therefore a rest to the people of the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai.
God.
For he that is entered into his rest, he also have ceased from his own works,
Go on.
as the Lord our power did from his.
Mm-hmm.
Let us labor therefore to enter into the rest.
Right, and there lies a balance. Before we can rest, it's like, for example, if you wanna, it's like, for example, you gotta go to work, right? You gotta pay the rent, you gotta pay the bills. Before you do all of that, you gotta put that hard work in. Okay, like Paul said, if a man don't work, then he don't eat. So the thing of it is, we're gonna be eating later, but we have to put in our hard work first. Okay, because you can't be rested here and then rest. That don't get no work. It's not gonna work.
And it also says, through the sweat of our brow.
Exactly. Oh yeah, that goes back to the curse. Exactly. Yeah. So the work has to be put in. So if the work has to be put in, we have to be addicted to this thing to get the reward. Woo. So let's further read that.
Go back again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let us labor therefore to enter into that rest,
Mm-hmm.
lest any man fall after the same example of
Yeah.
unbelief.
Right. Exactly. So we don't want to be those that's going to fall out. So that's why Paul mentioned that we be rooted and established in the faith. How do you do that? Being addicted to doing this work. Now let's go back to the point.
Okay. 1 Kings chapter 4,
Mm-hmm.
and we're in verse
26, 27.
26. And Solomon had 40,000 stalls
Mm-hmm.
of horses for his chariots, and 12,000 horsemen, and those officers provided victual
Mm-hmm.
for King Solomon,
Right.
and for all that came unto King Solomon's table.
Now, doesn't it say in the book of Isaiah 60 that the gates will be open continually? Why is that? Because it's going to be consistent provisions. They're going to be paying tribute. That's the reason why that is. So now, yeah, keep going where you're going, bro.
Okay. And it says, so like it, Elder.
Yeah, go on.
In that movie 10 Commandments, they show you that. Show you that is his name Cecil?
Cecil B. DeMar.
Yeah, the one that, directed it. They did their history, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because you had when Moses got sent back to Egypt to basically say, let my people go.
God.
They had like a long line and the doors were open.
Mm-hmm.
And the princess from Ethiopia, and they gave like cloth and all kind of things,
Mm-hmm.
and they presented it to Pharaoh, and they had a long line, man, of people on dignitaries from other countries just bringing shit to him, man.
God.
And the gate was open.
Yep.
It
It was open continually.
continually, because he was popping at that time, man.
God.
Anyhow, 1 Kings chapter 4, verse 20.
You said 27, right?
Can't.
I'll tell you what, hold on to that.
Okay.
Somebody get Isaiah 60, verse 11 and 7. Because the thing of it is, right, before we go further,
I got it.
yeah, go on. I don't have to say anything. Go on.
Okay, Isaiah 60, verse 11 says this. Just turn the page. Isaiah 60, verse 11 says, Therefore thy gates shall be open continually, and they shall not be shut day nor night,
Wow.
God.
that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles,
Right.
and that their kings may also be brought.
Yeah, so let's keep this in mind. Isaiah is prophesying that this is going to happen again. So when is this going to happen again? When in the kingdom. In the kingdom of heaven is set up. So just like in like manner of what happened during Solomon's time where he lacked in nothing, we're not going to lack in anything. We're always going to have. We're always going to be taken care of by the people. So that's what I just wanted to go and read into. What verse you're in, bro?
Isaiah 60, verse 11. Shall I read it again?
Read when you left off at.
Okay. Verse 12. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish, yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted.
Keep going.
The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together to beautify the place of my sanctuary,
God.
and I will make the place of my feet glorious.
And that's what happened. Is that 17?
That's 13.
Okay, go on.
The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee, and they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet, and they shall call thee the city of Yahweh, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel.
And that's gonna be helping us fulfill the role of priests.
Exactly.
Because that's gonna be their tithe unto the elect. If they want to start acting up about giving the best of their produce, then their lands won't be blessed.
Absolutely.
The curse is gonna come on them. They ain't gonna get no rain. They ain't gonna get no produce. So for the nation to do well, they're gonna give a tithe unto the elect. Whatever their country produce is economics. Man. Economia, household management. You know,
we're gonna be the head of the house.
We're gonna be the head of the house. For the house to run properly, you have to, you know, give your tithes, man. So they're gonna give the best of everything unto the elect, and then in that they're gonna be blessed, man. You know. So read that last verse again, Brother Kishore.
Yep, back in Isaiah 60.
Because what did the priest receive? The priest received the best of the animal, man. Like the shoulder bit, you'd give your offering.
Right,
The Levites.
right,
Who would
right.
get it? The Levites.
Right.
But then the scripture says you're not a tribe of priests, but ye are a nation of priests, man. So that's why we brought it out about Melchizedek. Before the order of Levi or lawyer, it was the order of Melchizedek, which is Yahweh Shai anyway. That means all 12 tribes are priests, man. So in the kingdom, all 12 tribes going to be sorted by these nations. Thy gate shall be open continually. Man.
Just like Levi was taken care of.
They were taken care of, man. Go on,
Should I read again?
Yeah, go on.
Isaiah 60 verse 14. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee, and all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet. And they shall call thee the city of Yahweh, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel.
The city of Yahweh is what? New Jerusalem. The elect, man. Starting with the elect. I saw New Jerusalem coming down. You know? So that city of Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Lord willing, is us, man. You know, the hope for the elect. Go on, bro.
That's right.
Verse 15. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations.
Wow.
Thou also shalt suck the milk of the Gentiles, and shall suck the breast of kings.
What verse is that?
16. Keep going.
Yep.
And thou shalt know that I, Yahweh, am thy Saviour and thy Redeemer, and the mighty one of Jacob.
So let's break that down. The sucking of the breast of the kings. That's just symbolic of saying that we're gonna take all of their resources, their gold and their silver, all of the best of what they have is gonna be given unto us. And that's why it also mentions that thy king shall be thy nursing fathers, and what is it? Thy king shall be thy nursing mothers, because they're gonna become ministers. And even in the kingdom, what we're gonna have is we're gonna have these nations set up on high. But guess what? They're gonna be servants unto us, tributes unto us.
Yeah, because with babies, formula food ain't better than breast milk.
Wow.
The breast milk is the best food you can give to the baby, man.
Because of the nourishment. It's the nourishment. The nourishment.
So when we suck the breast, we gonna get the best of what they have. They ain't giving us no reserve shit.
Nah,
fuck that. We getting the best, man. You know, of everything
it,
they got to give.
Yeah.
Go on, man.
Verse 16, I read that one. Verse 17. For brass I will bring gold, for iron I will bring silver.
See, it elaborates on it, because that's what I expounded. I didn't even know it said that. Go on, bro.
For wood, brass, and for stones, iron, I will also make thy officers peace.
So what verse is that?
Verse 17, Isaiah 60, 17.
Yep.
Thy officers peace, and thine extractors righteousness. Forgive me, it's a bit hard.
So that's all I really want, because I mean we're gonna move forward from there, but I want to read the book of I want to go back to Solomon again, not Solomon, 1 Kings 4.
So we're in 1 Kings chapter 4 and we're at verse 27 now. And those officers provided victual for King Solomon, and for all that came unto King Solomon's table, every man in his month.
Right.
They lacked nothing.
Right. Read it again.
Verse 27. And those officers provided victual for King Solomon, and for all that came unto King Solomon.
Now, just like it mentioned in the book of Isaiah 60, where it says that what? Thine exactors. Read that again.
Isaiah 60. Hard to see here. Isaiah 60 verse 17.
Yeah, one of you brothers give him the light. So
It's okay. For what? I can see what I'm doing. This is fine.
Okay.
For brass I will bring gold, and for iron I will bring silver. For what? And for wood brass, and for stones iron, I will also make thy officers peace, and thine exactors righteousness.
Right, and thine officers peace, and thy exactors righteousness. So Solomon had the same thing. Solomon had the same thing. Okay, and they were given these resources. And I just want to go back to that.
Khan. And it says in verse 28, barley also and straw.
No, go over verse.
Verse 27. And those officers provided victual for King Solomon.
Right.
And for all that came unto King Solomon's table, every man in his month, they lacked nothing.
Right. Every man in his month, and they lacked nothing. So they was all good. It was taken care of. Go on.
Barley also and straw for the horses, and dromedries brought they unto the place.
What verse you in?
Verse 28.
Verse 28. So it says the same thing in Isaiah the 60th chapter once again, as Isaiah is prophesying that in the kingdom we're going to get what? Dromedaries. What is a dromedary? Another way of saying it, a particular kind of camel we're going to get. All right. So I want him to read that in Isaiah 60 and 18.
Come on. Isaiah 60 verse 18 says, violence shall no more...
No. Salakia. My bad. You in 28, right?
I'm in Isaiah 16.
No, I'm talking to Romeo.
I believe verse 28, Khan.
Yeah, it's verse 6. Isaiah 16, verse 6.
Okay, let me backtrack a bit. Isaiah 60 verse 6 says, the multitude of camels shall cover thee, the dromedaries of Midian and Ephah, all they from Sheba shall come.
Yeah, the people of Midian and Ephah are those Arabs. Go on.
All they from Sheba shall come and shall bring gold and incense, and they shall show forth the praises of Yahweh.
Yeah, and that's why they're going to be doing it, because they're going to be what? Giving presents unto the Lord. Because remember, we're going to be the ones that's going to have the name of the Lord.
Yes.
So because we're going to have the name of the Lord upon us, they're going to be what? Giving presents unto us, because we're going to what? Bear his name. He's going to put his name upon his people, beginning with the elect for the most part. All right? That's the best way I could really put it.
Khan.
Go on, huh?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, back in 60 verse 7. All the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto thee. Rams of Nebaioth shall minister unto thee, and they shall come up with acceptance on mine altar, and I will glorify thy house. So glorify the house with my glory. Who are these that fly as a cloud?
Yeah, so that's all we need. And we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get more into that. But as well as what happened during the time of Solomon, guess what? His kingdom was being glorified.
Yes.
By what? Presents being sent to him. All of these
Tributaries.
Thank you, brother. Okay? That was being sent from Hiram Abiff, which we're going to get into that. So now let's go into this.
1 Kings chapter 4 verse 28. Barley also and straw for the horses and dromedaries brought they unto the place where the officers were, every man according to his charge.
Go on.
And the Most High gave Solomon wisdom and understanding exceedingly much,
Right.
and largeness of heart.
Yeah, which means the same thing.
Yeah, the mind. And it says, even as the sand is on the seashore, and Solomon's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the children of the east country,
God.
and all the wisdom of Egypt, for he was wiser than all men.
Yeah.
Than Ethan the Ezrahite, and Heman, and Calcol,
God.
and Dada, the sons of Mahol, and his fame was in all nations round about.
Right. So what happened was, as it looks, as I'm visualizing, as you're reading it, he had different various speeches that he was given among these other nations, and he looked at him. If you could read it again, brother.
Come, I'll read from verse 31. For he was wiser than all men,
Yep.
than Ethan the Ezrahites, and Heman, and Calcol, and Darda, the sons of Ma'ol.
No, I was wrong. It's going to speak on that when you read verse 33. It's going, bro.
And his fame was in all nations round about. And he spake 3,000 proverbs.
Right, that's why you got the book of Proverbs. Go on.
And his songs were 1,005.
That's why you have the Songs of Solomon. See?
And
Go
he
on.
was a bit of an author.
Exactly, yeah. And you know, too, he had a lot of time to get into all of that. Because he was, what, taken care of.
Seems like we only have a fragment of what he potentially wrote. 3,000 songs. Was it?
I'll read it again.
1,000
and he spake 3,000 proverbs, and his songs were 1,005. So yeah,
prolific.
Yeah, and he spake of trees, from the cedar tree that is in Lebanon, even unto the hyssop that springeth out of the wall. He spake also of beasts, and of fowl, and of creeping things, and of fishes. And there came of all people to hear the wisdom of Solomon.
Yeah, so peep this. Now, doesn't it say in the book of Isaiah chapter 2 that, as a matter of fact, if you can get that, brother, Isaiah 2. Yeah, 2 in verse 1 to verse 2.
Isaiah 2, starting at verse 1, says, the word that Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it.
Go on.
And many people shall go and say, come ye, let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh.
Right, and what?
To the house of the Most High God of Jacob.
Yeah.
And he will teach us of his ways.
And he will teach us of his ways. What does that mean? Meaning they're going to want to hear our wisdom and our understanding concerning the laws and the commandments.
Right.
But I got one better. We're gonna move forward. Go on, bro.
Finishes off.
Yep.
And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law,
right,
and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem.
Right, and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. So
say it in the Hebrew, Yerushalayim.
Yerushalayim. Yep.
The city of peace. It goes back to Solomon.
Goes back to Solomon, brother. That's it. Goes back to Solomon, man. So there you go. Because right now, if you look at Jerusalem, what's going on with Israel, it's a lot of cataclysmic situations down there ever since they've got into the land. So we already know they ain't the people, because when the real people return back to the land, they're going to be exercising righteousness, which is to what? Bring forth the peace. Okay? So to be exact, when Yahweh Shah is declared and established, that's when that peace is going to be proliferated in Israel and all around the planet.
And them Amalekite niggas got kibbutz going on over there, and kosher pig. Like,
come on, man.
Like, come on, man. And what's that? That geezer David, whatever his name is.
Oh, you're talking about David Bongorian or some shit.
Come on, stop it.
Stop being retarded, man.
Don't do that, Esau, man.
Come on.
That proves the point that they ain't the people, man. Like the land itself is gonna testify when the true sons of the Most High are in the land, man. Where's the flourishing? It says that. Read that again about the mountain, Baba Kushar.
This is Isaiah 2.
Yeah.
Verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahweh's house.
And that ain't 1948, man.
Damn sure is.
Because the mountain represents what? The government. That's right. The government system, man. You know, that ain't it, man. The government system is the elect led by Yahweh Shai, set up by the Heavenly Father, man.
Yeah.
You know.
But then he say that he has the government on his shoulders.
Hey, government on his shoulders, man.
There you go.
You see that? What's his name? Was his name Samuel? Man, what was his name, man? The man that met Joseph and Mary in the temple when they went to get the Lord circumcised.
And he said,
Simeon.
I've seen.
Yeah, my eyes have seen the consolation. This child is set for the rising and the fall of many. What do governments do? They overthrow and they take down.
Yeah. Well, doesn't it say in the book of Daniel, chapter 2, that his government is going to trump all governments?
All governments, man. The top mountain, man. So that's Yahweh Shai's kingdom, bro. So that can't be you, the little hats, the small hats. You can't be them, man.
Or the big wig wearers.
The big wig wearers, man. The curly boys with the sideburns. They ain't them, man. Come on.
Twisting the joints.
It says, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahweh's house shall be established.
Niggas talking about Baruch Hashem, man. What the hell are you talking about, man? Come on, man.
It shall be established in the top of the mountains, meaning all the governments.
Because the name is going to be written on the elect.
God.
See, even that phrase, Baruch Hashem, what they're trying to say is Barak Hashem.
Right, bless the name.
Bless the name. Well, what's the name? Ain't the name going to be written in the foreheads of the elect?
That's right. And
Which is not given to them. Which is not given to them.
Big question mark.
Yeah.
What's going on, man? They ain't got the name, man.
They ain't got the name.
Because the name of the Lord is dreadful
Among the
among the
heathen.
heathen, man. The tetragrammaton, the 4 letter, we can't say that name. Why can't you say the name? Ain't the people, man.
Like the scripture says, it says that a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod.
Yeah.
And you know it proves that they're bastards because they don't even go by their, what is it, their father.
their mother.
Yeah, they say that you get your deism, I ain't gonna say the whole thing, don't clip the live, but you get your nationality,
Through your mother.
the J-O-O-ish stuff, by your mother.
God.
Well, that's contrary to the law, man.
God.
You declared your pedigrees
By the house of your fathers.
house of your fathers, man.
That's right.
So how the hell do you get your nationality by your mom? You see, because they're the top house of Satan, man. Let's take it back to the basics. The devil, right, on the earth, the physical counterpart of him is the Edomites. And just like every other nation, you got tribes and sects. Well, the highest tribe amongst Esau is Amalek, man. So that's Satan.
Yeah.
And they literally go against they go against the law.
God.
They go against the scripture. If the Lord said, well, it goes by your father, okay, it goes by your mom. You know? Everything they do is adverse to the scriptures, man.
Well, that's why it also mentions too that in the land of upright is where they learn righteousness.
Yeah,
You can't.
Can't do it, man. If you finish on that kid, then I'll go back to King.
Just one precept I wanted to bring up to back your point. 1 second.
Ariel, did you have some?
No.
Oh,
come on, man, where is it? I might have to roughly. Oh, here we have it. Well, Exodus 17 and verse 16 says, "For he said, because Yahweh have sworn that Yahweh will have war with Amalek from generation to generation." That's why the name is dreadful in their mouths, man. They don't want to bring up the name of the Lord because they know that's how he feels about them.
Yeah.
That's all I've got on that.
Can't switch one.
Right, so we're back in. We go back. Okay, so we're back in 1 Kings chapter 4, and we're in verse 31. For he was wiser than all men, than Ethan the Ezrahite, and Haman, and Chalcol, and Darda, the sons of Maol, and his fame was in all nations round about.
Right.
And he spake 3,000 proverbs, and his songs were 1,005. And he spake of trees, from the cedar tree that is in Lebanon, even unto the hyssop that springeth out of the wall. For he spake also of beasts, and of fowl, and of creeping things, and of fishes.
And you know what I'm thinking? If I'm correct, I'm thinking about what's said in the Apocrypha, because he said that you have you have things created for vengeance.
Yeah.
Right? And they low on their soul strokes.
Yeah.
And he mentioned teeth of wild beasts. So he was probably going into that. Going on.
And it says, verse 34, and there came of all people to hear the wisdom of Solomon.
Right.
From all kings of the earth, which had heard of his wisdom.
Yeah. So when the wisdom is excuse me, let me reiterate what I'm saying. When the wisdom is installed inside us under the new covenant, guess what? We're gonna have the wisdom and understanding of the Lord. Yeah. And guess what? That's when all of the nations are gonna what? Proceed to hear what we have to say.
Come, let us go to the mountain of the
Lord. That's why I read Isaiah chapter 2. And also, if you can, somebody get me Deuteronomy 4 and verse 6. As a matter of fact, read that again, Caleb. Isaiah 2 and 3.
Isaiah 2 and 3 again says, and many people should go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways,
right?
And we will walk in his paths, for out of Zion shall go forth the law,
right?
and the word of Yahweh from Yahshalam.
Right. So they're gonna be hearing the words of the Lord, and they're gonna be so intrigued by the wisdom concerning the laws and the statutes and commandments that we're gonna tell them why. I don't know how it's gonna be done, but I just know that the nations are gonna be hearkening unto what we gotta say. Now get me Deuteronomy 4 and 6. We're gonna be giving speeches. We're gonna be the priests.
Oh, I'll get that one.
Was that what the answer for? Deuteronomy chapter 4 verse 6.
4 and 6. Deuteronomy 4 and 6.
Yeah, because there ain't gonna be no Ramadan in the kingdom of heaven.
Nah.
No.
And no Diwali.
Yeah, the fireworks.
Okay,
Ain't none of that, man. As the elder said, they're gonna be coming to how to keep the Sabbath, how to keep the Passover, how to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. They're gonna be coming to us to learn of our high holy days, man. You know, the kingdom won't be defiled by any wickedness.
Nope. So it's just gonna be what we say goes, and that's it.
Because it's what he says goes right now.
Exactly.
You know,
right.
You can't say I ain't paying the tax. You know,
you get locked up.
You get locked up.
You can blink an eye.
What about that guy? Oh, I live off grid. Remember him?
I remember the guy.
I don't use money. What do you mean you don't use money? You got to use the money with their faces on it. How Shai did that when they were pissing around.
Oh yeah, the money.
And then he said, "Well, give me a denarius." And he said, "Whose inscription is on it?" They said, "Well, it's Caesar." He said, "Give to Caesar that is Caesar, and unto the Most High that which is the Most High." So Yahweh Shai made it clear. If we're in this world, you gotta live by their system. You can't just say, "Well, I ain't paying the bills." You know, because we're in the age of identification. Well, I identify as man and woman. What about how about you walk into a bank and say, "Well, I identify as a millionaire." I want to withdraw 5 million. They'll laugh at you. Well, it's true though.
That's a good point.
Well, I identify as a trillionaire. So I think it's financially prejudiced if you don't give me 2 million right now.
That's beautiful.
They gonna say, "Hey man, let's get this guy in a straitjacket."
Wisdom of this world is foolishness, man, and he catches them in the wrong cunning.
God, you know. So that's the point, man. We gotta play by their rules. So it's only right in our kingdom.
They'll play by
our rules, man.
Hey, that's beautiful.
That's going to be hell for an Edomite because they're programmed to go off.
Yeah, but we're gonna force them to do it anyway. They're gonna have to do it. So what the hell were they talking about?
That's beautiful what Brother Urabe said, right? I remember, because sometimes the bills come to the post, and I said to myself one day, I'm gonna make a complaint. And I said, I suffer from a utility bill sufferer. Right? So if I'm a utility bill sufferer, I can't pay my bills, so you must pay my bills for me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Now there's a woman on, anyway, just to make a quick point, there's a woman, her name is Esther, and she talks about the straw man regarding going to court for all your bills. I went to her one time. It's a long thing, but there's certain things that they shouldn't be charging us. But if you're willing to get into all that law, which you know, we got the wisdom of the Lord now. And scripture, you mentioned pay things to Caesar, what's due to Caesar, and what's due to them. But there's things that they're doing, right, that is unlawful. That
they don't tell you.
They're not telling us.
I'm going Barclays tomorrow, okay, man?
That's true, brother.
Man,
For the record.
Just a quick one. Remember when Esau was sending us these text messages saying we've booked your appointment for your shot coming on Tuesday?
Yes.
Well, look. You could just say, well, I identify as someone who's taken the shot.
That's it. That's right, Caleb. That's a good one, Caleb. That's a good one. You see?
According to their logic, right?
Use it on them. Turn it on them.
Go on, Aria.
Yeah, I got this one, and I'm going to hit that Deuteronomy 2. But this is the quick one. Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 7. It says, "For he has given me certain knowledge of the things that are, namely to know how the world was made, and the operation of the elements." That backs up this one as well. Deuteronomy 4 and 6 says, "Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the operation."
And that's
of the nations.
Right, and that's why I wanted you to read that, because remember, when Solomon was giving those different speeches, right, he was bringing out his wisdom. And obviously you already know he was talking about the laws and the statutes within that. So we're going to be doing the same thing. And that's why it reads that this shall be your wisdom of the sight of the nations. So when the nations present themselves according to Isaiah 2 and 3, that's what's going to be presented towards the other nations.
sight of the nations which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
Just like they must have said to Solomon that, wow, this guy is severely wise. So they're going to be saying the same thing about us. So we're going to be the undiluted priest of the Heavenly Father. And that's why everyone's going to be paying us and having us live good, because so that we can do so that we can be ministers of God.
Wow.
And to spread the tidings around the mother nations. Now let's go back to Kings.
Come on. So we're back in 1 Kings, and now we're at chapter 5. So chapter 5 and 1, and it says, and Hiram, king of Tyre, sent his servants unto Solomon, for he had heard that they had anointed him king in the room of his father. For Hiram was ever a lover of David.
See?
And Solomon sent to Hiram, saying, thou knowest how that David my father could not build an house unto the name of the Lord Jehovah, his power, for the wars which were about him on every side, until the Lord put them under the soles of his feet.
Like I mentioned earlier before, he had a peaceful kingdom because of Solomon. Go on.
Where's that scripture, Solaki, where it speaks about a man's son that lives to see the fall of his enemies?
All these things make a man,
Sirach.
Yeah,
man happy.
25, yeah.
He that liveth to see.
You want me to get it or not?
Yeah, somebody get that.
Okay.
Big time.
Because David had a hard run, but then his son Solomon reaped the benefit of it. You know, David was a man with many enemies, man. But then his successor, his son Solomon, had a kingdom of 40 years of peace, man.
God.
That's a huge contrast.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we read about David. David had a hard time, man. He was forever looking over his shoulder. Even people that he would consider close to him.
Yes, yeah.
Started fucking.
Even his son.
Yeah.
Absalom.
Absalom,
What a
man.
life to live.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and then he had Absalom. He got his hair caught in the tree.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So David had a hard time, man. But then his son Solomon had to reap the benefit. That's why. How does the saying go? Hard times create
Yes.
strong people.
Right.
Strong people create good times,
yeah.
and good times create weak people.
Absolutely.
So it's a cycle, man.
Yeah.
You know.
And just to back your point you just made, because talking about he had tribulation in his household, there was Tema, his son, and one of his sons, and Tema and Teman, something like that, if it's not the right way round. But one of his sons raped one of his daughters.
Yes. Incest.
Yes, she was obviously, he found her attractive. She was attractive. He had attractive children, innit? So he raped her, which was against the law.
Tamar.
That's it. Calm.
Tamar.
I was gonna sit up. I was gonna be wrong.
The tribulation in his household, man, the more you look into it, you realize that he went off there, but man, he had to really pay for that. He really paid for that. You called for this one, yeah?
Yeah, go read it.
Sirach 25 and 7 says, there be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that hath joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemies.
Yeah, so Solomon saw the fall of his father's enemies, man. You know, because he didn't have no enemies coming up against him.
Nah.
He had the 40 years of peace, man.
Yeah.
So all the hard work that his father David put in, basically Solomon lived to see like the reward of that, man.
Yeah.
Now I can kind of call in the cut because my dad dealt with that, you know.
Right.
There were a few affairs though.
Yeah, he did have a few affairs,
One
but
of his-
overall,
Yeah.
it's nothing compared to what his dad went through.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's 3 people. I think 3 or 4 people who Solomon put to death at the start of his reign because that was considered taking care of David's unfinished affairs.
Yeah,
But for the most part, after that was done, Solomon had his peace.
That's why David couldn't build a temple.
Yeah.
Because he had too much
He had
blood
way
on his
too much
hands.
blood in his hand. Solomon had way less. So yeah, back in 1 Kings.
Yep.
1 Kings chapter 5.
Yeah, start with verse 1 to verse 4 again.
Come. 1 Kings 5 and 1. And Hiram, king of Tyre,
And then Caleb, you read Isaiah 60 and 18.
sent his servants unto Solomon, for he had heard that they had anointed him king in the room of his father. For Hiram was ever a lover of David.
Go on.
And Solomon sent to Hiram, saying, thou knowest how that David my father could not build an house unto the name of the Lord Jehovah, his power for the wars which were about him on every side,
Go on.
until the Lord Yahweh put them under the soles of his feet. But now the Lord Yahweh my power hath given me rest on every side.
Yeah, so now let's read Isaiah 60 and verse 18.
Come on, Isaiah 60 verse 18 says, Violence shall no more be heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders. But thou shalt call thy walls salvation,
Right.
and thy gates praise.
So what does the term salvation means? It means preservation from danger. So we're not going to be having to meet any kind of form of evil within our surroundings. So just like as it is mentioned here, now we're going to go back to, what is it, 1 Kings, 5 and 4. Once again.
1 Kings chapter 5 and 4. But now the Lord Yahweh my power hath given me rest on every side, so that there is neither adversary nor evil occurring.
Well, I should have did Salakia. I should have had you read this first and then you read that again. So read that again.
And then read it again.
Yeah.
Come, 1 Kings chapter 5 from verse 4. But now the Lord Yahweh my power hath given me rest on every side, so that there is neither adversary nor evil occurring.
So now let's read this.
Isaiah 60 verse 18 again says, Violence shall no more be heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders, but thou shalt call thy walls salvation, and thy gates praise.
Yeah. In other words, it's not going to be no adversary, no, and that's how you know that the spiritual demon Shaitan is not going to be around, because the term Shaitan means adversary, and it says no evil occur, just like it mentions over there. So all of Israel is going to be in a peaceful situation.
Thy people shall be altogether righteous.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Exactly. Good point. That's in Isaiah 62. Yeah. So that's all we need on that. Yeah. So read me.
Continuing.
Yes.
So we're in 1 Kings chapter 5 and verse 5. And behold, I purpose to build an house unto the name of the Lord Yahweh my power, as the Lord spake unto David my father, saying, Thy son, whom I will set upon thy throne in thy name, in thy room, he shall build an house unto my name. Now therefore command that thou, get ahead of myself.
That's all right.
Now therefore, verse 6, now therefore command
somebody get Isaiah 6 and 9 now.
that they hew me cedar trees out of Lebanon, and my servant shall be with thy servant.
Right.
And unto thee will I give hire for thy servants, according to all that thou shalt appoint.
Right.
For thou knowest that there is not among us any that can skill to hew timber like unto the Sidonians.
Yeah, meaning those Canaanites which dwelled in Tyre and Zidon, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
And obviously they were, they're pretty tall people. So obviously, to chop down the wood, they was very skilled in that, man. They would be skilled in that.
Even when you look at like them indigenous Hamites.
Exactly. Yeah.
All of their weaponry is wood. Wood made.
Con.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Con. That's right. Yeah. So they were very well skilled in hewing wood, as we know, timber. Now when you read verse 6, it says, Now therefore command thou that they hew me cedar trees out of Lebanon. Now doesn't it say in Isaiah 60, it says that even the box together they shall give unto us. You might as well read that too.
What scripture is that, Bob? Sure.
Whoever got it, Isaiah 60.
I'm in 60.
Verse 9.
Yep, verse 9 says,
It's all good, yeah?
Yes, I'm checking.
God.
Isaiah 60 verse 9 says, Surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, to the name of Yahweh thy God.
Just like Hiram had. Hiram had his workers and the Canaanites sending goods to what? Beautify the kingdom. Ships. Go on.
And the silver and the gold with them unto the name of Yahweh thy God, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls.
Right.
and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor I have had mercy on thee.
Yeah, so just like during the time of Solomon, it's going to happen in our kingdom. So again, Isaiah is prophesying that really, and this is why I wanted to go into this, because I wanted to go into this some time ago, about maybe I would say 3 years ago. I wanted to go in this, and hopefully that this is an edifying lesson as well. You know, because we doing the best that we can in the spirit, man. You know, and basically, but yeah, just getting back to the point though. In like manner, you can clearly see when you read the book of Kings, as we're going into, and as well as the prophecy in Isaiah, it's going to be in like manner. It's going to be very similar. Just like I remember the other apostle said that the kingdom of Solomon has basically been put on hold, but it's going to resume when Yahushua comes back, and the same things are going to happen all over again. So that's what Isaiah is prophesying about. So everything that happened during the time of Solomon, he's prophesying that this is going to happen again, as it is also written that there's no new thing under the sun, saying that it's new, and have already been of old time. So this is coming back.
Yeah, because the scripture says we see through a glass yet dimly.
Yeah.
So looking back on the record of Solomon, it's like a very dim view of the greater magnitude.
Yeah, it's like a dim mirror.
Yeah, of the kingdom to come.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good analysis, I might say. Yeah, so that's it on that. You good, yeah?
Did you want verse 13 about the box and the pine?
Yes, that's what I wanted, yeah.
Right, so jumping down to verse 13, it says, The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree and the pine tree, and the box together to beautify the place of my sanctuary, and I will make the place of my feet glorious.
Right, and I will make the place of my feet glorious. So as in the time of Solomon, this is what was going on. They were getting the best trees from Lebanon. And that's why the Lebanese flag has what? The tree on it. Okay? Because they're known for the best trees. So yeah, let's go back to what is it, 1 Kings 5 or something like that. No, verse 5 it was, right?
1 Kings chapter 5 and 5.
No, verse 6. Salaki, verse 6.
1 Kings chapter 5 and 6. Now therefore command thou that they hew me cedar trees out of Lebanon, and my servant shall be with thy servants. And unto thee will I give hire for thy servants according to all that thou shalt appoint. For thou knowest that there is not among us any that can skill to hew timber, like unto the Sidonians. And it came to pass, when Hiram heard the words of Solomon, that he rejoiced greatly and said, Blessed be the Lord Yahweh this day, which hath given unto David a wiser son over this great people. And Hiram sent to Solomon, saying, I have considered the things which thou sendest to me for.
Yeah, so what verse you in, my brother?
Halfway through verse 8.
Okay.
And I will do all thy desire concerning timber of cedar, and concerning timber of fir. My servant shall bring them down from Lebanon unto the sea, and I will convey them by sea in floats unto the place that thou shalt appoint me, and will cause them to be discharged there, and thou shalt receive them, and thou shalt accomplish my desire in giving food for my household.
Right. And I just want to say too, Hiram was given a lot of fine flour to take care of his whole entire household. You know, he was eating real good, and as well as he had a lot of oil that was given onto him as well. So that was what's the saying called? Quid pro, something like that. I got it on my phone. I just want to just bring it out real quick. Yeah, just real Salakia, brother.
I got an article to back you up as well.
Okay, yeah, it's called quid pro quo. So that was, which means one thing place of another thing. That's all it is. You're going out.
And I proved that Solomon was an economist. You know, exports and imports.
Exactly.
Well, you got that and I want that, so I'll give you this in return.
Exactly.
You know.
Yep.
This is some article online. It says Faith Business. Solomon and Hiram, a win-win relationship.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it says Hiram of Tyre's provision of timber for the making of Solomon's temple and palace is an instructive study in managing the supply chain. It worked well, due to the background of friendship, a balance of power. What's that today? International relations, politics, you know, and a focus of delighting the customer, all amounting to a win-win relationship. Then it gives the scriptures that we're already reading, and it says Solomon was able to build on something he inherited from his father. What do they call that? Inheritance wealth. All right. The chapter begins with Hiram sending his servants to Solomon when he heard that they had appointed him king in place of his father. Hiram had always been a friend of David, an existing family friendship, aka ally. That Solomon wasn't starting from scratch, and it says a balance of power. Solomon sends word to Hiram, as we just read, explaining his intention to build a temple, a project David wanted but being unable to carry out.
Right.
And issuing the command that cedars from Lebanon,
as we're reading already,
be cut for me. The term sounds peremptory. Here is a king at the height of Israel's power who accepts others to do as he says, but he immediately acknowledges that the power is not all on one side.
Yeah, because basically he needed Hiram, didn't he?
Yeah, he needed it.
So it's like for example, the king, obviously, the king is in a leadership position, and the king is needed to rule and to govern the people in the right way, but also the workers are needed for the king because the king needs to be taken care of. So it's a mutual agreement. All right. Now in this world, they have you think they'll have you think that it's all about the top guy. It's not always about the top guy. All right. It's also the servants as well. That's why you have to be treating things at an equal basis. You know, according to obviously the position of the people.
Yeah, because if Solomon went in there like a bull in a china shop, I'm the king. We didn't get no wood.
You ain't gonna get no wood.
Ain't no temple then.
Exactly, So
even though this guy's lower than you, you gotta treat him a certain way. Otherwise you ain't gonna get your own agendas accomplished.
Exactly. Man. So he's what you call he was a necessity. He was needed.
He was needed. And it says Hiram occupies a niche position in the market. Niche means very specific. Nobody else is offering that product. Nobody else is offering that service. So automatically, even though he's not on the level of Solomon, he's right up there now. Because he got something that Solomon needs. Solomon said, I want that. So I'm going to treat you nicely.
I got to piece you off. That's why I piece you off with a lot of oil and flour.
So in other words, he played the game right.
He played
right, man.
So even though he was the king, because really it should have been the opposite around. He should have been like, yo, I'm gonna go act like I need you. But it was the opposite. They both needed each other, but primarily Solomon needed them.
And that's being wise. That's being wise.
Yeah, but I just want to say this. Solomon knew that he was very skilled in getting certain things that he liked. So obviously he would have to treat him with respect.
It says Hiram occupies a niche position in the market because, as Solomon says, there is, and we just read it, there is no one among us who knows how to cut timber like the Sidonians. So he appreciated his skill set. I can't do that. I don't have that product, so I need to be nice to you.
Because he's the only one that can
do it, man. So technically, without a heathen, there ain't no temple, man.
Exactly.
You know? There's certain things you gotta use from other people to get your own agenda.
Exactly. But it's like this too. If you notice, right, Esau tried to make it look like we needed them.
Yes.
But in all reality, officially, he needed us. And I remember, a brother of mine, I ain't gonna call his name out there. He's doing him, whatever. But he was bringing something out, and it was an Amalekite that said that that the Israelites, basically us, were the cradle of civilization. So you have to pay attention to what he meant by that. So we're the cradle of civilization, then that means we're very important vessels of people under Esau. We keep the economy going. So if Jake says, look, man, to hell with you, Esau, I don't want to work with you no more. Guess what? This society goes bottom below. Because the Edomites are not necessarily effective when it comes to skilled labor how we are. All right, and that's why they took us from West Africa to what is it? To resurrect, or let's just say erect the American economy, because they couldn't do it.
Yeah. Well, the statistics are already out there. In England, NHS, National Health Service, right? If you took away all Israelite doctors, nurses, and,
ain't nobody gonna be there,
and hospital officials, you'd have less than 900 people working in the NHS.
Yeah.
So imagine the whole of England, you only got 900 staff. That shit's gonna crumble.
It's gonna crumble apart.
Every industry is built off the back of Israelites.
Yeah. And another thing too, when you check these Edomites out that do work,
Yeah.
you know, they'll work, but then they'll go out and about, talk shit, smoke and everything.
And you like to complain every minute too.
Yeah.
Complain.
They like to complain. So work isn't getting done.
No.
Go on, bro.
So like it, Elder, that's what we were saying earlier, why Esau's agenda is what, only 50% on track?
Yeah.
To 2030?
Yeah.
Because they're doing that shit, they're putting their feet up like,
Yeah,
smoking at the back,
They
not
do
doing the
that,
fucking
man.
work.
Yeah, they ain't doing anything.
They
So
do
if you
that.
take Jake out of the equation, you don't have an economy. Who's running the trains? Who's running the buses?
Yeah.
And this is why
Who's sweeping the floors?
And this is why it says, you know, that Jake is the salt of the earth.
Yeah.
That's why.
Israel's the former of all
Of
things.
All things. All things.
And the thing with the transportation systems, that's very well integral, because that's how you get your business going.
Yeah.
Traffic, right? So you got buses carrying what dozens amount of people, not dozens, doesn't mean 12. If you got hundreds of people being carried from bus to bus, that's what bringing forth that traffic. So the economy works. So if Jake don't run the buses, then you don't have traffic. If you don't have traffic, then the economy's dead in the water.
And Elder, to be honest, when last have you seen an Edomite road sweeper?
Obviously.
I have never seen an Edomite road sweeper before.
You
You see what I mean?
Yeah. So
There
that's
you
what
go.
I'm saying, man. So we're very well needed in
Very,
this
very
economy.
needed.
So going back to what you were saying about Hiram very well was well versed in cutting down the wood and getting the right kind of things than everybody else, if I'm correct. But he had the people that was on him, they knew how to chop the timber down, the wood down. Right? But he knew how to get certain things. So that's why Solomon took Solomon saw him as a valuable asset
Yes, yes.
and took care of him. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, so I'm back in 1 Kings 5 and verse 9.
Yeah.
My servant shall bring them down from Lebanon unto the sea, and I'll convey them by sea in floats unto the place that thou shalt appoint me, and will cause them to be discharged there, and thou shalt receive them, and thou shalt accomplish my desire in giving food for my household.
Yeah.
So Hiram gave Solomon cedar trees and fir trees.
Which verse you in, brother?
Verse 10.
Okay.
So Hiram gave Solomon cedar trees and fir trees according to all his desire. And Solomon gave Hiram 20,000 measures of wheat.
Right. So 20,000. Now a measure. I did a little bit of research. A measure is like 6 liters.
Yeah.
So if you multiply that, that's got to be what 120,000 measures of wheat. So he was good. He was taken care of. Go on.
And it says of wheat for
a year
for food to his household, and 20 measures of pure oil.
And as well as the same with the oil. Go on.
Thus gave Solomon to Hiram year by year.
Yeah, so that was the exchange for his labor and work. Go on.
And the Lord Yahweh gave Solomon wisdom as he promised him, and there was peace between Hiram and Solomon.
Yeah.
And they two made a league together.
And check this out. And I just want to say this too. And even though King Solomon was the king, he had respect to Hiram because of obviously he was a great deal of an asset. But I just want to say this too, right? Once again, because when an individual gets in a high position, for the most part, primarily those that don't deserve it, they abuse their power. Okay? And Solomon, he treated the man with respect. This is of another nation. So how much more among each other? When we get into when certain men get to the higher rankings, we have to deal respectfully among each other, because we're Israelites for one, and we possibly could be the prophets of the Lord.
That's powerful.
So we have to respect one another, and as well as the leaders have to show a great deal of an example. Okay, that's all I want to say.
You're treating people like shit. That's an Edomite mentality.
Yeah.
Like an Edomite, yeah. Like that's slavery, man. You know, hundreds of years ago, they'll in their mind they perceive, oh, this nigga, he ain't working enough. They whipped the nigga almost to death, and now he's out for like 2 weeks, sitting up in the shack recovering. Well, you're stupid.
In what sense that means?
You want him to have a higher output, but then you beat him to the point where he can't even work.
So you love someone.
Makes no sense.
Makes no sense. Like Esau, that's why he's the basis of all
and that's
men.
why they have a perpetual hatred.
Perpetual hatred.
It's hatred. That's what
So
it
it's
is.
the same thing. Like you could be over someone, but if you want the best productivity in whatever you're managing, naturally it's within your best interest to treat the people underneath you better. To treat them good. You can't treat someone bad and expect to get the best from them. It doesn't work.
It's not going to work, because how are you going to be a superior nation if them nations under you don't want to work for you? Now I will say this though, because in the scriptures it does say that we're going to kick these nations' ass. It does say that. So we have to put that. We have to put that out there.
Of course.
However, but when it's all said and done and the nations respect us, we're not going to really have to put the hammer on them. They're going to be peaceful with us, and we're going to be peaceful with them. And guess what? Our kingdom is going to be more greater than it was from the beginning, because there's going to be peace dealings between the nations. All right, and we could do even a lesson on that, Lord willing, man, sometime later on. But there's going to be peace eventually among the Israelites and the other nations, and they're going to be cool with being under us. But we have to basically humble these nations. It's like, for example, you have a horse, you have a wild horse, you have to humble it. You have to beat it down so that you can use it to your advantage. So it's the same thing with these nations.
You have to break him. You have to break them in.
So us breaking these nations, we're going to do it out of vengeance. But what's going to be the ultimate goal? It's to break them down so that they can be servants under us. Once that's done, then we ain't got to do no more. We ain't got to do no more. Going out.
Right. So, 1 Kings chapter 5. 1 Kings chapter 5 verse 14. And he sent them to Lebanon.
Oh yeah, I know what this is.
10,000 a month by courses. A month they were in Lebanon, and let me jump up a bit. Verse 13. And King Solomon raised a levy out of all Israel, and the levy was 30,000 men.
So just to put it shortly, the levies were nothing more than overseers over the slaves. Go on.
And he sent them to Lebanon 10,000 a month by courses. A month they were in Lebanon, and 2 months at home. And Adoniram was over the levy.
So they were nothing more than slave gangs or overseers. Now, someone get me Joel 3 and 8, because Israel ain't gonna be no taskmasters. It's gonna be them other nations. It's gonna be them Hamites. As it is written, we're gonna get it. Yeah, I know, brother. I know. Yeah, we almost finished, bro. Yeah. I got you, bro. I got you, man.
Hamites, I know about that.
Joel 3 and verse 8, you called for?
Yeah, Joel 3 verse 8.
Joel 3 verse 8 says, and I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hands of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off, for Yahweh have spoken it.
So they're going to be the new levies that we're going to set over the slaves among the other nations. Israel's just going to be chilling, doing the job of the priests. All right, just wanted to bring that out. So we're just going to move a little bit. This is the last one anyway. Finish off where you was at, brother. 17 to 18, and then somebody get me Isaiah 10.
First Kings
16 and verse 10. Salakia.
1 Kings chapter 5 verse 17. And the king commanded, and they brought great stones, costly stones, and huge stones, to lay the foundations of the house. And Solomon's builders and Hiram's builders did hew them, and the stone court and the stones quarriers. So they prepared timber and stones to build the house.
So it was built out of a particular precious stone in this case. As I'm looking at it, as I'm visualizing it, right? So in the kingdom of heaven, this is going to be done too. Go on, brother, read what you got.
Isaiah 60 verse 10 says, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor I have had mercy on thee.
So them nations, they're going to build beautiful palaces for us. And we're going to be situated beautifully. Remember, doesn't it say that the Lord will beautify the meek with salvation? Okay? So this is what's coming our way, man. Solomon's kingdom is going to be resumed and much more greater than it ever was before. Because this time, when Yahushua comes back, he's never going to go off again. And we as a whole, under Yahushua, will never go off again. The water Yahweh Yahushua for giving us the new covenant. So we won't be able to sin no more. So if there's no sin, then all there's going to be is an increase of blessings. And we're going to increase more and more. So that's all we have to say. Hopefully this lesson was edifying. And Lord willing, we're going to continue to make more edifying lessons like this. Because, I thought about this lesson, man, some time ago, and I just wanted to do this. And this is basically, I've been given a good opportunity through the Spirit, all of the brothers as well. We've all been given this opportunity to do this lesson. So that's all I want to say. With that, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and the Son. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakadash. And and Yahweh Ba'ashem, Shai, Brakatham, 144,000, and as well as the 1/3. We out.
Yeah, man.
Shalom.
To the next one.
Peace and blessings.
I got you. I got it. Yeah.
Might go to the toilet, Baba.
Yeah, you're going.